Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Wednesday. Morning Seek the Sky. He lives. Oh, you guys can't see it. There's another version of Dusk Light 1.2. This will have to update tomorrow. Sorry for the yeah, sorry for missing yesterday. I needed to sleep a bit more. I went to bed with a fever and felt I should probably get a little bit of sleep before so I could actually, not die and do my job and feed my kids. Alright, what do we got here? Gotta go to the... What's Midna say? There are 2 more fused shadows. Let's get a move on and find them both. Hurry, we need to head to the Elden Province and to the east. How you doing, Seek the Sky? Everything going okay? Right now we have a 100 rupee oil bottle and a 20 rupee. An oil bottle? Yeah. I got a bottle of oil. Bird o'clock. How do I... When you want to refill your lantern, set it to the oil. Set it in the oil to exit wine and use the oil. Oh. Okay. Still got my fairy there, just in case. Can I get over this way? This is a shortcut, right? Nope. Need bombs. Alright. Okay. Kill the rats. I need my lantern here. Don't want to move too quickly. Take a nice little stroll in the mist. The great plain beyond the woods, call a veil of twilight is cast. So saith the ancestors. Great plains. Ugh, I moved too fast. That's unfortunate. It's okay. It happens. Am I, like, doing something wrong here? What's the 4 steps to breathe fire? Your work here is done, so saith the ancestors. Why isn't my lantern... Yeah, there we go. Am I doing something wrong, or do I just need to... Wow, geez, this is really, precise. Oh. Like that? Okay. What would I do without you? Seek the sky. Probably rage quit or upset everyone so they don't actually watch my stream. You're going the wrong way too. This is the way to the forest temple. Oh, you're right. Okay. I was just following that big purple dot. I wonder how swinging the land... I mean, it's not like I'm... Oh, man. Of course, I wasted all of my... Yep. Yeah, of course, okay. Don't be mad. Seek the sky. I gotta go back here and get the thing. Get the oil. Do I have any extra oil? No. No. Sorry. I was too frivolous with my shaking of the oil lamp. Eleonora! Hello. This is why I don't do speed runs. I don't understand, like, man, those guys who do speed runs and stream it at the same time. I mean, at a certain point, those speed runs get down to muscle memory, so I can see how after a while they could do it. But man, I would not be able to like focus on a speed run and stream and answer chat and everything. I can barely play a normal game. All right, now we're cooking with oil. Stream's going okay. Just made a bit of a blunder. Went the wrong way, wasted all my oil. Hopefully Seek the Sky didn't abandon me because I screwed up like that. Not my worst mistake. How long have I been streaming? Did you see the Game Over's pilot? Okay, that sounds really familiar. I might have seen it. Yesterday on social media, there's some other stuff going on that I found was interesting. That was for some reason dominating my timeline, so I didn't really see much gaming news. The god of yellow paint, nothing escapes me. I think I've been streaming for maybe 6 months now. I want to say. Maybe less? I don't know. Can't be 6 months. Maybe 3 months? I don't know. Yay. That's what I wanted. Now I can go back. If I just walk into this, will it? I'm currently in Texas, Eleonora. What about you? I guess I could have just... feigned it out. Gameoverse is the new pilot by Glitch Productions. The one with the catgirl protagonist that has been driving certain people up the wall. Oh man, I missed some drama on the internet. I'm a programmer. Hang on. I'm gonna look this up. Gameoverse. 1 second. Gameoverse. Oh, it kind of looks like a combination of a Catgirl and Mega Man. Why are people upset about this? I mean, it's the internet. People will get upset about anything. Game over. So here we go. I mean, there's some videos about it. I can't watch them right now. Kind of reminds me of, I mean, I never played the games, but... Oh, yeah, look, oh, fan service drama. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I didn't see much of the trailer and whatnot. Kind of looks like, again, I never played the games, but the Shantae games, the Half Genie Hero. Morning, Tim. Oh, the first episode is a beach episode. Okay, that makes sense then. Not right now, Eleanor. I don't really have the funds for that kind of stuff, but thanks for asking. So wait, is it a TV show or is it a game? I mean... We'll see what happens with it. I mean, if the game has any... If it's a game and has any merit, like good quality and actual fun to play, it could do well. if they're only just trying to capitalize on a beach episode fan service and that's all it's got, then it won't. It'll gain a cult following and then that's pretty much it, kind of like First Descendant. Oh, it's a YouTube series. Okay, I see. Yeah, maybe it's possible. It's just the attention grabber. I need a horse. Yeah, the attention grabber for the series. Maybe to kind of draw audiences in. But if that's all the series has to offer, people probably won't stick around for it. My guess is. The hero's loyal steed remains trapped beyond the shadowy veil, so say their ancestors. Yeah, I gotta go to Kakariko Village. Where's my map? Which is usually to the east. Hey! Oh, this guy. The happy postman. Yeah, if you want to share some artwork, Eleonora, feel free to hop on our Discord. There's a channel in there for that. You can share it there or message me on Discord for it. I got a letter. How do I read my mail? I thought he gave me something, but he didn't. Oh, they're in the main pause menu. I have a letter for you. I will approach you at high speed. Please do not flee. I like how if you like look at the map of Ocarina of Time, the map of Twilight Princess, and the map of Breath of the Wild, clearly they had Breath of the Wild map in mind, but they couldn't realize it until the technology was there. We're gonna go in there and find the Elden Ring. We go in, it's the Lands Between. It's essentially what the Lands Between is the Twilight Realm. People can't die. Oh dang, the Discord link is expired? That's weird. I'm pretty sure I set it to... I'm pretty sure I set it to never expire. Oh well. Gotta change that. That's unfortunate. Sniff, sniff. Oh, that's the kid's sword. Eamon would not be happy that I accidentally shared a broken Discord link. Hang on 1 second. I'm trying to find something here. on one second. Sorry, I'm just queuing something up for a discussion. Okay, sorry about that. Should probably sniff it. It's Wolfin time. I have to say that because that's what I titled the episode. I couldn't think of anything else. I forgot we can. That's how we fast travel. Calm yourself, Eleanor. I'll send it in a moment. Okay, where'd I see this bridge? Did I go to the wrong place? Seek this guy? Probably. Knowing me. Dang it. We have to run around as a wolf. How do I wait? How do I? Yeah, I can't warp right now. Do I have to leave the? Okay, yeah, there we go. I don't know how portal magic works. There we go. Something I do remember about this game is there is a ton of backtracking. Like, a lot. Like, you have to go find all these things and move them around, then you gotta go the end game collectathon once you to find all the statues, and this is definitely one of the longest Zelda entries aside from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, Instagram will work, Eleonora. Thank you. Sorry about that. The Skybook. Yeah, that's yeah, I remember that. Kind of a small blemish on an otherwise great game. Twilight moblins. Huh? What are they doing here? Dig, dig, dig. Hey, New Game Plus. Bokoblins. Moblins are the big bro. Sorry, I made that same mistake. Made the same mistake yesterday. Yes, Bokoblins are the small one. Moblins are the big one. The big burly boar guys, yeah. Gather round, everyone. Oh, man. Alright, come on. Get over here. Eleanor, calm down, please. Or I'll kick you. Alright. I'm in the middle of something, alright? Don't worry, I'll get to you eventually. Now we gotta find all the light bugs. Oh, wait, which one? Katsudo? Which message are you referring to, Seek the Sky? Oh, he's up his way to Death Mount. I think that did go through. Sorry. Oh, okay. You said you didn't need to kill a Shadow Beast in one shot. Oh, that, yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah, my third-party software for multi-chat sometimes messes up. Tim has thoughts on the accessibility debate. Proceed, Tim. You have the... you have the talking stick. Feel free to share your thoughts, because I have some more, too. I get into this house? Aha! I like this guy. Gotta be helpless. They're prey. Then they'll feast. We're safe as long as you remain in here, child. Be at ease. If those monsters out there would agree with you. Ugh, weird baby. Oh, that's right, they turned the town people into monsters. Hey, old Wolfman. Morning. How you doing? Yeah, put down that mask. Tim says, it seems, so this is related to the accessibility debate, it seems that the best argument in favor of putting difficulty into the hands of the player is to make it easier for people with disabilities to enjoy a game. Devs can't control who buys. Yes, that at the very baseline, that is, I mean, that's how it started. It's like if you're colorblind or if you have any other kind of disability, you know, makes your game more accessible. Go on, Tim. They can't see me. Oh no, they can't see me as the wolf. Okay. Tim says, and they can't be expected to make a special version for each individual disability that may hinder someone from enjoying their game. Yes. So I'll reread the whole argument. Once you're done. Once you're done saying it, Tim. Sorry. I had to ban Eleonora. I gotta communicate some sort of policy. It's getting quite ridiculous. A lot of these people coming in, saying hi and then asking to be my graphic designer. It's like at least one a day now, and I wonder if they're bots. I don't think they are. But it is getting a little ridiculous now. I'd rather not have to put up with it. Some of them seem quite nice. But I think whatever guru is making a bunch of money telling graphic designers to go to these small channels and ask them for work needs to tell them they need to start slow. They need to build a relationship first before they can actually get any kind of work from them. Not just be so pushy. There's one of the statues. Tim, when you're done making your argument, put done. Well, not argument, but when you're done making your statement, so I know, so I can read the whole thing in one shot. Is this the graveyard? I think this is the graveyard. Oh yeah, it is. Oh, oops, why did I do that? Ah, the trumpet demon birds. Alright, so he's in this house somewhere. Tim is building his argument well. This was the first time I banned someone from a chat. Not from Discord. I banned some people before, but makes me think it was a bot. Are you done, Tim? Can I read it now? Done. Okay, good. All right, let's see this here. Okay, so this is regarding... So if you're watching this, we had a discussion in the previous episode about accessibility in gaming, particularly with what I would consider to be a trend in games now where, you know, there's seems to be an overabundance of accessibility settings available to the player right at the start of the game. You know, things that we would consider cheats back in the day. Like, remember in GoldenEye 007 for Nintendo 64, how if you beat every mission on 00 agent mode, you got 007 mode, which allowed you to tweak pretty much every aspect of the gameplay. That's available to players like right at the start. Okay, so Tim says, it seems to me that the best argument in favor of putting difficulty into the hands of the player is to make it easier for people with disabilities to enjoy the game. Devs can't control who buys, and they can't be expected to make a special version of each individual for each individual disability that may hinder someone from enjoying their game. So their only way to deal with this issue is to make the settings dynamic for everyone, which means that if they're a company that wants to concern themselves with being accessible, then they have to hand that freedom over to the player and trust them to do the right thing. That's my version of a steel man for this argument. We don't want people left behind because our differences and disabilities, and therefore we need accessibility settings to enable them to play. That's a great steel man. I might actually run that by a person who I butt heads with on more than one occasion on this whole accessibility debate. Something I will say is someone pointed out that because games require, like, challenge is it's an essential part of what makes a game a game. There needs to be some resistance, and because there's challenge, okay, that means that skill is also required to some extent, and so therefore games are inherently exclusionary. Meaning some people will just naturally be excluded from games because of the skill barrier. Oh, I got a light on fire. So, I mean, the whole thing with accessibility views difficulty and barriers to access as the same thing. At least modern accessibility debates and whatnot. This, oh, I can throw it. Okay. So to them, and no difficulty settings whatsoever, the game would be least accessible because they view accessibility and difficulty and barriers to entry as like all one and the same. Sorry, not accessibility. Barriers to entry and difficulty as one and the same. Now, I did think more on this, and I did again butt heads with an ex-user named handles Ian Hamilton something. He actually works in accessibility, gaming accessibility space, and so he really knows his stuff. So if you ever do find yourself on the opposite end of an argument with him, know what your argument is and know what your argument is not, because he knows the statistics. He will be respectful to you if you are respectful to him, but if you're not, he will dish it out as well. He can give as well as he takes, so just be aware of that. I've had several respectful conversations with him, but the statistics are there. There's a lot of statistics and a lot of studies done on gaming and how accessibility affects players. And from a statistics standpoint, most of them are good. And by good, I mean like player retention. Okay, so I could be wrong about this, but it seems like to the accessibility crowd, players playing more of the game is what's important. So if players give up, if like they're trying to reach that flow state and the game is too hard and they give up, that's ultimately negative. But if players keep playing, then that's ultimately positive, and that reflects positively on accessibility settings. So accessibility settings affect player attention positively. That's what I mean when it's positive. To me, and this is why I think me and that guy often talk past one another, is I'm more interested in sort of the philosophical side of video game design rather than the strict numbers. Like, those of you who've been following me for a while, you'll know that just because a lot of people play a game, I think that just because a lot of people play a game doesn't mean the game is actually a good game or worthwhile. So that's where I think there's a bit of a disconnect there because of how I value video games. It's not more of a statistic thing. It's more of a how does this game affect the player's psyche, or is it a worthwhile experience? Yeah, a bit more on that in a second, but Tim says, so then to further shore up the Steelman, if challenge is part of what makes a game fun, then it doesn't matter if the difficulty is dynamic because a player will always choose the appropriate level. But that's my big thing. Because accessibility, a lot of the accessibility literature, if you read it, again, I haven't dove into it too much, but some of what I saw is they measure player retention as a positive metric. So if more people are playing the game, then accessibility is working. I don't think people will naturally choose the difficulty that's appropriate for their level. That's my contention. My contention is that most humans will, given the opportunity, choose the path of least resistance. Whereas accessibility is based on modern, again, I just learned this a few days ago as I've been reading up on this stuff. I don't want to butcher it, but I think self-determination theory and is like kind of at the basis of the thought behind a lot of the thought process behind a lot of these studies for accessibility. And it's basically that it kind of says the opposite. Whereas I think humans will try to choose the path of least resistance, self-determination theory says the opposite. They think that it will sorry, I'm a bit lost now. That they'll essentially choose the right path or choose the appropriate, they'll get to the right difficulty for them. Whereas, for me, and this is what I said to the guy online, it's like, this doesn't make me right, but do I have to go in there again? Dang it. This doesn't make me right, but, my kids struggle to put on their socks in the morning because it's too hard. And, I've had to adopt a very, low help policy when it comes to video games, because otherwise, as soon as they die, they want my help. And I want them to be able to beat the level on their own. And oftentimes they can actually beat stages on their own. They just have to try a few more times and practice. But I think kids who have not low willpower, but I don't know what they're not as mature as an adult, they'll see the opportunity for an accessibility setting as just a quick and easy way to beat the game, which to them is the goal. Not necessarily to enjoy the process of playing the game and persistence and getting better. Too hard to put socks on? Skill, exactly. And he needs to practice. He needs to practice every day. You put your socks on. Another concept that I came across is they call it Fiero, which is basically the feeling you get when you overcome an extreme challenge. And this I felt was a little, coming across this concept in the literature, I felt was a little I don't know if counterintuitive is the right word, but the goal of accessibility is for players to reach that flow state, so that they can experience Fiero. But Fiero is only really achieved when you conquer something, when you beat a really, really tough challenge. So some accessibility settings allow players to feel that, like dynamic difficulty adjustment behind the scenes can slightly reduce the difficulty as you play, so that you can therefore then, overcome the challenge without knowing that the difficulty is being lessened and lessened. Whereas others rob you of that chance of fioro. It robs you of that chance of like, yes, I did it. And those are I realize that those are the accessibility settings that I detest. Like, press 8, like, enable skip bosses. To me, it shouldn't be that. It should be like an optional thing to reduce the difficulty. Like how I got upset about how Pragmata like immediately asked me if I wanted to reduce the difficulty. I didn't like that. I thought I should have died a few more times before it asked me that question. But at least it gave me the option. And it didn't give me the option to skip the boss. Okay, now again, albeit those games that have skippable bosses are few and far between. But, there's Super Kong and Donkey Kong Country games now. And I think, Tim, you shared a story about how your kid had Luigi show up and beat the level for him. So it's becoming more and more of a prevalent thing. And that to me is egregious. Okay, more on this in a second. I've been rambling for a while. Okay, hang on. I gotta back up the chat. Kasudo just saw the explosion on top of Death Mountain. He's now going to the Hidden Goron Mines. Socks. So now we get into the societal value of gaming and poking holes in the steel man. Given how open-ended the section is, Kasudo's event could happen in any order. Zorkor, hello. How you doing? Yes, sorry. I was rambling. I apologize. Okay, hang on. I'll read the rest of the chats in a second. Oops. Hang on. All right, hang on. Hang on. Sorry. It's been a while since I've done this. Dun 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 dun. Essentially, the issue here is the same as my main issue with AI de-skilling. De-skilling, yeah. So I thought that too, and I still do think that is a possibility, because again, this whole trend in what I would call hyper accessibility, and I'm not saying hyper in a pejorative sense. I just think it's ramped up. All I'm saying is it's ramped up recently. That's all I'm saying. we don't have the longitudinal data to see how it affects, and I do think it's tied into what's happening in society as a whole and the types of games people are playing. So that's my concern, but there's really no data to suggest that a de-skilling thing is actually happening. And I don't really know how they would measure that. That's what I'm saying is, like, if you are quote unquote against these accessibility modes in games, like, you got to be specific about what types of accessibility should be there and how it's implemented, and just know that the data is mostly against you in the sense of how it frames things and how it measures things and how it measures success. You know, to me, I've realized that kind of like how it's kind of like a personality thing or moral intuition theory about how your moral intuitions are part of your personality and what you value. I really, really value the feeling of Fioro, and I want that for my kids. I want that for players. And so anything that might threaten to take that away from the player, I view that as a negative. So that's why I lean towards less assist modes and less accessibility rather than more. And to others, that makes me seem exclusionary. But really, it's just I want people to have the best experience with video games that I think they can have. That's why I think the way I do. And that's a hard thing to measure. Okay, so Seek the Sky says, what do you think of the intensity scale from Smash 4 and Kid Icarus Uprising, and how being defeated portrays lowering the difficulty as a penalty? I think that's a... because I view Fioro as something that players should strive to achieve. Was there a fourth one? Oh, there is a fourth one. So yeah, the intensity scale, again, I'm not against I'm trying to think about how to dang it. Ugh. My first reaction is most people in the accessibility crowd would say something along the lines of penalizing someone because they have a disability is bad. I feel like that would be the first thing that would be brought up. Failing to beat the level on max difficulty means you lose out on rewards. Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, it brings up what Eamon shared yesterday about how someone asks the lead developer about, you know, maybe not having achievements on when you use accessibility mode. And I don't think that's an unreasonable statement. I think it's a reality of life that you just can't get around, and like, you can't make every game as accessible as possible, otherwise it removes all sense of competition for those who are competitive. And I think people understand that. You know, all the accessibility debate stuff is happening in single player games because people understand naturally that it's just impossible in competitive games to really make accessibility happen because it's competition. But I personally think it's fine in Smash Brothers for that kind of intensity scale. to be that way, because it encourages the player to get better and to grow in their skills. Kasudo and Samaria encounter a dragon. Oh, competition is big and we should all be winners. But I guess to try to think about what would be the counter argument to that would be, in competitive play, you're playing against another player, so it can't really be helped. You can't give a handicap to one player and not to another player in that sense. But in a single player game where the game is your opponent, that I feel like that can merit some sort of assist mode to help you along your way. But the nature of achievements, I feel, is a sort of competitive. At the core of like the whole achievement thing is a, like, I want to show this off and therefore it's competitive. Like it's like, yeah, you did this. And I think that's where it moves into the danger zone a bit. Philosophically, like awarding people achievements for things they didn't actually do, I think is a problem. Tim says, so I wouldn't say I'm against accessibility setting as a whole. I just think there are potential downside if not handled well. That kind of metric. What kind of metrics are they measuring as data? One of my clients was telling me about modern controls in fighting games. Basically, that you don't need to know the button combos anymore. You can just switch to... Sorry. Tim says, one of my clients was telling me about modern controls in fighting games. Basically, you don't need to know the button combos anymore. You can just switch to on modern controls and press 2. And do the whole combo. Yeah. Yep, that is a thing. And I think it completely removes a whole aspect of the fighting game genre. That what made the fighting game genre the fighting game genre. I think in an effort to make the game more accessible for other players, they've dumbed it down. That I think that's a great example of a game losing something of it, a game genre losing something of its core identity in the name of accessibility. Because that's Smash Brothers just skipped right that whole like button combo thing and went right to just everybody has got the same combos. Up A, down A, left A, right A, up A, right, and then the same thing for B, and that was it. And that's what made it simple, and that's always been a part of it. So imagine now if Smash Brothers came out with a new entry, and all of a sudden there's button combinations that you have to learn. Like, it would completely destroy what makes Smash Brothers Smash Brothers. The one redeeming quality of that is you can choose it. Like if you play Street Fighter 6, it asks you, do you want classic controls or modern controls? All of a sudden there are button combos. Right here in Terry profuse sweating. So I'm not paying attention to the cutscenes because I assume everyone's played this. But I imagine that if you, and I have to look into this, if you go to a tournament, you'll have to the tournament will probably specify, do you want classic controls or modern controls? And I think, and again, one of the arguments for this type of thing is that, you know, a player will now has access to the Street Fighter genre because they can there's no longer that barrier of button combination. I gotta get the steel boots. So the idea is they'll get exposed to the fighting game genre, and then maybe in the future they'll be like, I can learn these button controls. That's kind of the idea, the progression. Okay, but now since Zant noticed Kasuto going into the hiding world within the Twilight, Zant has decided to take advantage of this, and he's launched a full-scale attack on the hidden world. Epona! Calm down, Epona. I remember this part. Hold on. Oh, they shortened it. It was much longer. See, this guy says basically the rationale behind Smash Brothers control scheme versus classic fighting games is boils down to I have to do what to throw a fireball. You're not too shabby of a wrangler at all. But see, this is a difference in the whole modern controls versus classic controls. Where I see that as they made the game worse so that more people could play it. The flip side of that argument is they made the game more accessible. Now more people can enjoy Street Fighter. Which I don't think is an argument that's totally without merit. But then my question would be, okay, well, why not just create another series like Smash Brothers and see how well that works? And, you know, at what point, like later down, like 10 years from now, or maybe 3 or 4 entries now from when we're at Street Fighter 10, will button combinations even be a thing? Or will the trend continue and just only modern controls? I think that's the slippery slope argument that I brought up that not a lot of people took kindly to. We don't want our own series, we want your series. Kasuto, by the goddesses, we can't stand against an enemy like that. But Volvega, who now knows the limits, the limited tongue of man offers to help. Imagine everyone hopping on Volvega's back and going ahead to toast Zant's army. Wait, Volvega's still alive in this game? In this game? Oh, that's right. She did never die in the child timeline. Yeah, ultimately it comes down to how do you fundamentally view video games. and what their purpose is, or if you view them as having a purpose in society. Because, again, if you read some of these studies, some of the metrics they show, they measure player retention and they measure game success, like more people buying the game. And so if more people buy the game and there's accessibility mode versus not, then to them that's a win. Whereas, as we've discussed before, like, I don't believe that just because a game sells well or that more people are playing it, that means the game is worth playing. Audrey, thanks for the follow. Am I sitting in some mart? My dirty garage, that's where I'm sitting. If you follow the OT manga, then you'd know that Link briefly had Volvega as a pet when he was a child. Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. Or beneficial to the player. Yeah, exactly. It is a garage. It's a playroom for my kids and office. This is where I work too. Time to sumo wrestle. Link looks so upset. I'm doing great this morning. Yes, that's his mustache. It grows out from here. There are weird tusks growing out of his face for some reason. Oh, you're in Hawaii. That's crazy. I've only ever been to Hawaii once. I went to Maui in high school. Those are Tusk. I imagine what kind of nightmare genetics Ela would pass on to her children. Oh, that's right. Ela's his daughter. Get off me. Ow. No! Oh, you're right. I didn't update my... You're right. I should have updated my schedule on Twitch. I am not streaming Pragmata today. Tomorrow is Pragmata. Yeah, that's my bad. Sorry. I meant to change that and something happened and I got distracted. We'll pick up Pragmata tomorrow. Missing yesterday threw me off. Ow. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Shows up expecting Pragmata and gets a sumo match between Link and a walrus. Sorry about that, Audrey. You were expecting something different. My bad. This is a Twilight Princess. You ever play Twilight Princess? It's a classic. It just means I'm old. Yeah, it's one of the it was the last Zelda game to come out for the GameCube, and it started the trend of Zelda games coming out like in between systems. So like it was released on the GameCube and on the Wii, and then Breath of the Wild was released on the Wii U and the Switch. Some say it was the last true Zelda game, 3D Zelda game. Some say. But this is the PC port. So basically, programmers have decompiled the entire game and basically rewritten it in something like, I think, C++ or C#. And then they made a PC port of it where it just runs beautifully on the computer. And I can install texture packs and whatnot, so that's why we're playing it again. Yeah, I'm a programmer. Not game design, just web design. Alright, we're going to get back to Kakariko Village, and then we'll call it a day. Sorry, I know you just joined, Audrey, but my time to stream is very limited, and gotta start the morning in a minute. I program web applications for businesses. That's what my company does. You know, boring stuff like keeping track of spreadsheets and data and whatnot. Something this game really did I'd break ground with was horseback combat. And it's just awesome. It is. I like my job. I don't mind working by myself for long hours at a time. Oh yeah, this scene. Why are these guys after the kids? Books, they're books, toys, and my wife's a teacher, so she's got a lot of teaching materials. So this is a multi-purpose garage. Alright, let's beat this guy, and then we'll be done for the day. Why? He's evil. That's why he's doing this. I have no idea why he would do this. Why would he? Why would he do that? Yeah, it's essentially a storeroom, but it functions as a playroom. Man, I remember doing this for the first time. It was pretty awesome. Yeah. Have a good day, old Wolfman. Thanks for joining. Turn around. There we go. Oh no! Ugh. So focused on not getting hit by it. Come on, turn around. Yeah. Take that. I love all games, Audrey. Oh, epic. We saved everyone. Going to Lanayru. Streaming and video games is pretty much the only hobby I have time for these days. I would have way more hobbies if all I did was stream. If this could be my day job. See, they could make a spin-off series where he grows up to be the next hero. The next hero of Hyrule. All right. We did it. Time to save the game. Yeah, that was fun. All right, guys. That's how I got to end it here today. Kasuto is heading to Castle to meet Medora again. Yeah, sorry for the confusing Twitch stream schedule. I'll fix that. But today will be the last day for it. This was the last day for Twilight Princess for the week. Tomorrow and the next day are going to be Pragmata. Again, we're trying to get the the unidentified signal ending. So that'll happen. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so yeah, tomorrow and Friday, Pragmata. The weekend will be off, and then we'll just do it all over again next week. So 3 days of Twilight Princess, 2 days of Pragmata, and we'll take it from there. Let me see. Anything I missed? Do not have any emotes. Not even sure how to do that. But anyway, Audrey, New Game Plus, Tim, Seek the Sky. Thanks for hanging out, guys. This was a lot of fun. And I will see everybody tomorrow.